Welcome to National Pension Partners, where retirement planning meets peace of mind. Today, we're diving into the 412(e)(3 plan, also known as a fully insured pension plan. This isn't just any retirement plan. It's the gold standard for stability and guaranteed benefits. How does it work? Simple. It's funded exclusively by life insurance and annuity contracts. This means no market risks, no actuarial assumptions, just ironclad guarantees. Think of it like this. You're a small business owner who hates surprises. The 412(e)(3 plan gives you predictable, stable contributions every year. Your future benefits are backed by insurance contracts, so you know exactly what you're getting. No guesswork, no headaches. But there's more. These plans are designed to maximize your contributions and offer significant tax advantages. And with National Pension Partners, you're not just getting a plan, you're getting a team of experts, attorneys, CPAs, actuaries, all dedicated to making your retirement as secure as possible. We provide personalized consulting, ensuring that your plan is tailored to your specific needs. Best part, initial consultations and proposals are absolutely free. $0, zero commitment. So if you want a retirement plan that's as reliable as your morning coffee, head over to nationalpensions.com. With the 412(e)(3 plan, your future is in safe hands. Retirement planning never sounded so thrilling. Perfect for small business owners who like their finances as predictable as Monday mornings. Stable contributions, ironclad guarantees, and serious tax advantages. It's the trifecta of financial security. And with National Pension Partners, you get a team of brainiacs, attorneys, CPAs, actuaries, ensuring your retirement is as secure as Fort Knox. Oh, did we mention the free consultations? That's right. You get a personalized expert proposal with $0 down. So, if you want a retirement plan that's as reliable as your morning coffee, head over to nationalpensions.com. Because when it comes to your future, boring is the new exciting. Retirement planning never sounded so thrilling. For more details, check out National Pension Partners at nationalpensions.com. Retirement planning never sounded so thrilling.
All right, folks, it is July 1st. 2025, which means a lot's going on in the world, and we're glad to be talking about that here on Pod TV and all along those lines. So we've got a number of news stories that are out there, including the Senate remains stuck on Trump's tax cuts bill after voting all night. So they voted all night, and they're still stuck on that bill. I think the president is still hoping for a July 4th date, but it looks like that may be a date that doesn't come around as quickly as he would like, and they might still be voting even at that time because he still got to get it past the House as well. But definitely a lot's going on in this whole situation with the big, beautiful bill. Thailand's Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra has been suspended. So definitely that was after a leaked phone call. So leaked phone calls and government issues aren't just an issue in the United States. They're an issue in other parts of the world as well. And witnesses describe a grim aftermath of Israeli strike on a busy Gaza cafe. So that was being reported as well. As 74 were killed in Gaza as Israeli forces strike a cafe and fire on people that were seeking food. And Starmer faces down a revolt over welfare reform after a troubled first year in office. So that is something else that people are talking about as well. And UK police have arrested 3 hospital managers in Lucy Letby investigation. So it looks like that's something going on as they were arrested on suspicion of manslaughter. So that's something else that we're hearing in the news as well. The British monarchy will receive around $118 million in government funding, government annual reports are showing. So the royal train to be cut in palace cost-saving measure and all along those lines, but it looks like they will be getting some $118 million in government funding. And European countries, including Spain, where I know Nick is at, are experiencing an heat wave and they're issuing health warnings. We're having heat waves here as well. As a matter of fact, it looks like Barcelona recorded the hottest June ever as a heat wave gripped Europe. And when Nick gets here, we'll have to find out how he's coping in that heat wave and all along those lines, because it looks like it's a serious heat wave going on, and Europe's heat wave is dangerous and still getting worse. So definitely it looks like it's hot in Europe, and that's definitely something that I'm sure Nick can relate to and talk about as well. And Israel-U.S. backed Gaza aid group was in. It says, say 130 charities, more than 150 groups are calling for U.S. and Israeli-backed Gaza aid distribution to be shut down. So charities are urging the shutdown of that area. As a matter of fact, it's a killing field, is what one IDF soldiers ordered to shoot deliberately at unharmed Gazians waiting for their food and all along those lines. So definitely that's one of the news stories as well. And Millborn child care worker Joshua Brown has been charged with sexual abuse. So officials are urging a health screening for 1,200 children after an Australian child care worker was charged with rape and abuse. So hundreds of kids are to be tested for a disease after the child care rape charges in that part of the world. And it's not just hot in Europe, apparently it's hot in India. So they're asking how the hottest places in India are surviving as well. So NDMA's Progressive Advisory will protect informal workers from the scorching heat in that Asian area as well. And the Dalai Lama is preparing for his successor and to scupper China's plans to name their own. So he's already planning for a successor, and he doesn't want necessarily China to be naming it for him, and all along those lines. And Russia's just had its largest bombardment of Ukraine. I'm sure that Sasha will be talking about that on the Ukraine-Russia-China show that'll be coming our way very shortly, and all along those lines. But definitely that is another story that folks are continuously dealing with and talking about, and all along those lines. So definitely we're hearing a lot more in that sense, and we'll be keeping you informed in what's going on in that regards as well. And an F-16 pilot killed as Russia launches the largest air assault on Ukraine, and that was reported a couple of days ago, and all along those lines. And the Sakichi Industries plant in Telangana suffers an explosion. The death toll rises to 36 after explosion at a pharmaceutical factory in southern India. And definitely there's news about Turkey cartoon and Muhammad. So Turkey detains 4 over cartoon allegedly depicting Abrahamic prophets and everything like that. So Turkey arrested the journalist over alleged cartoon of Prophet Muhammad. So definitely that's something that folks will be talking about as well when it comes to notions of censorship and all along those lines. And it apparently bothers Russia. U.S. defense and NATO military spending boost amid the Kremlin outcry. And Poland is to start controls on borders with Germany and Lithuania over migration. So migration isn't just an issue here in the U.S. as well. And Azerbaijan police raid Russia's Sputnik media offices. So definitely it looks like Azerbaijan has arrested journalists at Russian state outlets as tensions with Moscow rise. And anti-LGBT plus Hungarian prime minister named the king of the Budapest Pride. So Budapest Pride Parade was bigger than ever despite Orban's ban. And Norwegian pension funds drops a U.S.-German defense firm from portfolio over the Gaza war. And it looks like Danish women will be facing a conscription by lottery. So they might be getting drafted, particularly the women, but I'm sure the guys as well there in Denmark and in that Danish country and all along those lines. And definitely there's a lot of folks that are still talking about that big, beautiful bill. And Philadelphia's largest city worker union is on strike for the first time in 40 years. So it looks like they're on strike, and definitely on a massive strike, and all along those lines. So that is definitely one of the stories that people are talking about here in the U.S. as well. So lots going on in that sense, including news about Brian Koberger to plead guilty in the Idaho killings to avoid execution. So that is definitely something that folks are talking about as well. And the suspect in the Idaho firefighter shooting identified as a 20-year-old man. And a chilling image shows Idaho firefighters ambush suspect in war paint before the deadly attack. And Elon Musk is criticizing Trump's spending bill and is threatening a new party. So maybe he's going to start his own party. So Trump suggests slashing Tesla subsidies and Musk says cut it all. So definitely that is looks like these two friends are now not in the best of friendship situations. At least they were friends there for a minute. And California rolls back its landmark environmental law. So that's definitely something that people are talking about as well. And Lisa Murkowski is slamming the brakes on the GOP's mega bill. So that's definitely something that's in the news. And an 82-year-old woman dies from injuries suffered in a Boulder Molotov cocktail attack. And I know that Rick has got some ties to Boulder, Colorado as well. So definitely lots going on, including Blackburn saying that the AI deal with Cruz is off. So that deal apparently is off. It will not be taking place and all along those lines. So definitely, and Senate Republicans are struggling to push Trump's budget bill over the finish line. So lots going on in the world, both here in the United States as well as over there in various other places, including where Nick's at in Spain and everything like that. So how are you doing and everything? It looks like we've got.
I'm okay. Yeah, that place where the lady was attacked and has now died is just a few steps away from where my dad used to have a store. Yeah, it's Boulder is a nice town, and that's one of the nicer parts of town. And it's really shitty that that asshole had to kill people there.
Yeah. You got that funny voice thing going on again, Nick, and everything. So he might have to bounce out and come back and everything like that. But definitely, Trump says migrants would need to know how to run away from an alligator to flee the Florida facility.
Well, Trump is just being a cruel prick in all ways. He's doing almost nothing right as president right now. I mean, he did shut down a lot of border traffic, but that's maybe the only thing he's doing right. The big, beautiful bill, everybody hates it for good reason. It's a giant wealth transfer. It kicks a bunch of people off of insurance. I just read an article that cutting people off of insurance will kill an additional 51,000 Americans a year, which is 140 Americans a day, which is more than are killed by guns or car wrecks. Yep. It's a shitty bill.
Sounds like anything.
Well, the reason Musk doesn't like it, though, is that his tax credit and his government subsidies go away. And,
yeah, that's right. The EV tax credit. If you buy
the thing is, basically for EVs, you get like $7,500 tax credit. And people that need tax credits go, hey, I should go buy an EV because basically we got $7,500 from the government to go buy it, or $4,000. So what happens is that it's reduced to zero. Now, Musk has been government subsidized for decades, between his SpaceX program, his Tesla program. I mean, the amount of money he's gotten sucked off from the federal government is just appalling. And that's the reason partially he's worth as much as he is because he's gone to Congress and basically writing him a check.
Well, speaking of being worth a lot of money and everything, I do have a question for you because I did see, and I mentioned in the news story that the British monarchy, and I know that you're so proud of your monarchy background and some of your own royalty and everything. So will you be getting part of that $118 million? Because apparently there's going to be a windfall for the monarchy. So I was wondering if Nick's going to be getting part of that money.
Yeah, we were Plantagenets or Catholics. See, the way that stuff works, the Plantagenets all got basically kicked out and destroyed, and then destroyed again by Oliver Cromwell. And in the United States, there are a lot of Plantagenet descendants.
Wait, did you say you're also Capulets?
Well, no, they were Catholics.
Catholics. Oh,
Okay. So the thing is, they ran over to Germany and they got these Windsors to come in. And so the thing is, who sits on the British throne? There's a bunch of imposters. They're basically Germans. They're not the Brits. They're not.
They changed their name. They were the Hohenzollerns, until World War One, and then they didn't want to be known for being German,
Yeah.
so they changed their name to a very
So it's kind of a fake monarchy, but the thing is, everybody agrees to it. So in other words, it's almost like, okay, we got to get these people in because they're Protestants, and there's a big thing between the Catholics and the Protestants. And on my line, my problem is Alexander Innes was going for the royals, why the parliamentarians were Oliver Cromwell, and they just beat the trash out. Where he came to America in 1650 as an indentured servant, or basically they executed. I mean, that's kind of how it was in jolly old England back in the 1600s. But that being said, now that I'm back here in Europe, sort of, it is hot here, Mark. Okay, it's good to see you hit the news because we have portable air conditioning. A lot of people here don't have air conditioning, and it's like getting to 90s, 100 degrees. I mean, it's just really, really hot, and it makes me look better to getting my summer place in Scotland. Not this year, but maybe by next year, because I don't know. I'm not going to stay here during the summertime. It's just way too hot. But I'm going to go to Prague next month, and I might be going to your way this month, right down to Los Angeles. So I already have my flights, but we'll see.
You're not going to Rome in the next couple of weeks, are you?
Pardon?
You're not stopping by Rome at all in the next couple of weeks, are you?
No, I'm not going to Rome. There's actually a nonstop from here to LA.
Okay.
So I'm going to be on a nonstop from here to LA on level.
Well, we got two more interesting Trump pieces of news. Apparently, Ted Nugent says pray for Trump after he was caught sneaking a gun into the Capitol. And we know that Ted Nugent is a popular entertainer and all along those lines, if I remember correctly, and everything like that.
Yeah, he was popular at one time. Now he's just an old lunatic.
No, he's just an old lunatic and everything. And apparently, George Bush has joined Obama in criticizing Trump. So even some of the old guard is not necessarily liking what Trump is doing.
The big beautiful bill isn't as bad as you think when it comes to national debt. When I was looking at it, the $3 trillion to $5 trillion is over 10 years, which is only $500 billion a year being added to the national debt. So it's not that bad. There are parts I don't like. I mean, there's quite a few. One thing is, if you're ever going to balance the budget, you need to keep the revenues coming in. And the thing is, this bill doesn't allow for that. So it's almost we're going to kick the can down the road again. And, that part's appalling. And also, they are spending money on worthless things and not spending it on things that are worthwhile. In terms of the tax credit to Tesla, I don't care about that at all.
There's the Hall of the Hall of Heroes, which is he wants to spend $40 million in one of the Dakotas putting up a bunch of statues of his favorite Americans.
Yeah, I know. See, that's what I'm saying. The U.S. can't afford this wasteful spending. And if you go through the bill, there's a lot of wasteful spending. There was another $285 million being dumped into the Department of Agriculture. It looks like that Doge was a waste of time because a lot of the pork is still in that bill. So you have a combination of still a lot of pork, and you have a combination of tax breaks for the rich. But let me tell you something about tax breaks for the rich. I'm studying Hungarian history. You'll love it. Okay, on all the taxes in Hungary for years, including income taxes, tolls going over bridges, the nobility was exempt from paying taxes. I'm not kidding. The law, the nobility paid zero taxes. Taxes were for the peasants and the serfs. They paid the taxes, but nobility did not pay taxes at all, zero, So the thing is, I go, okay, things haven't changed very much since the 1700s. People do pay taxes, don't get me wrong, but in terms of percentage of income and percentage of net worth, it is a lot smaller.
Hey, Nick and Rick, I got a fun story for y'all that y'all will enjoy. It actually involved North Carolina, and I just stumbled across this story and everything. But apparently there was a landscaper here in North Carolina that decided to throw a massive party after being hired to mow someone's lawn in a North Carolina mansion. So it turns out that this landscaper took his lawn mowing gig to a whole new level. Instead of just mowing the lawn and calling it a day, he decided to throw a huge bash with hundreds of guests while the owner was on vacation. This article says taking the term work hard, play hard to a whole new level.
Yeah, that's how like 10% of all movies start. Somebody gets access to a big house and decides to throw a party.
Well, apparently he decided to take it seriously because on Saturday afternoon, this 37-year-old had other plans for this $4.3 million house in Weddington, and he decided to host a massive blowout without the owner's permission. Hundreds of guests, mostly teens and young adults, flocked to the mansion, each paying an entry fee. So it comes down to your whole idea of capitalism, Nick. So I guess he decided I got a big house. I'm going to create my own business.
Here's a more important story. The dollar is having its worst year in 52 years.
Tell me about it. Okay, come on. The thing is, I'm exchanging money all the time and losing money on my exchange.
The dollar is
exchanged a bunch of it before I came over here when the dollar was high. Bad news is I have some more I'm exchanging, and the dollar is 85 cents. So if you give them a US dollar, they give you 85 cents plus their commission. And it's just like, it's really horrible. So
the dollar's worth 10% less when you're exchanging for foreign currency than when Trump became president. It's down.
I know. Well, that's the reason we exchanged a lot of our funds about 4 or 5 months ago. We were very fortunate when it was high because we were going to buy real estate here. And so now we have it all parked in the bank waiting to buy real estate here. But still, as I just travel around and I have other expenditures, it's like I get a 15% haircut on everything that I buy because the dollar is being pummeled. And I don't know when or if there's an end in sight on the dollar getting pummeled by.
Speaking of the dollar, I got another good story for you. Speaking of money waste, and this comes from the fine folks at Trump and everything. Apparently, Trump's Secret Service detail is to pay $600,000 for golf carts and porta potties to use at his New Jersey club. And so the Secret Service is allocating more than $600,000 to rent golf carts and portable toilets for use in Bedminster, New Jersey, the home of President Donald Trump's private country club, according to a review of the government procurement data by the Independent. So
are they renting him from Trump himself? Because he likes to overcharge the Secret Service for anything associated with.
Probably from one of his companies, but we really don't know the details of that. But see, the thing is, all that stuff which the progressives look at is nickels and dimes compared to the billions of dollars that are wasted on projects that really the government should not be involved in. And that's where they need to change on the expense side. Then on the revenue side, and this thing's appalling to me, but mainly because of a former career, I was a estate planning attorney. We had a federal estate tax that started once people had more than 600,000. For a couple, 1.2 million. Well, they basically gouged and got rid of the tax because people complained too much. However, that tax coming back and earmarked for the national debt would actually be very good for the United States of America to restore some fiscal sanity in this country. And the thing is, let me tell you, the easiest people to collect from is dead people. In other words, they're not going to complain. So the thing is, or people that inherit money. I mean, if you inherit money and you got to pay 10 or 20% or even 30%, you're happy the fact that you got all this free cash flow.
That's right.
So what I know, it's absolutely true. And so the thing is, one way to restore fiscal sanity, which does not exist in the United States, is to bring back the federal estate tax, earmark it to pay down the national debt, which is over 30 trillion. It's going to take a while because even bringing the federal estate tax back to egg Trump, and I'm talking back to 600,000, 1.2 million.
It'll never go back to that.
I know they don't want to do things that are sane, Rick. I mean, I kind of got that, but this would be a very sane approach to reducing the national debt without really affecting anybody's standard of living currently alive. It would not have one effect
True,
Okay.
but you said that all these big expenditures, but Trump is a nickel and dime guy where he's going to gouge you on porta potties, he's going to gouge you on golf carts.
Yeah.
He just came out 6 months ago. He came out with a perfume. Now he's out with a new perfume called Victory. Trump Victory 4547. They're all about winning, strength, and success for men and women. Get yourself a bottle. Don't forget to get one for your loved ones too.
Oh, really? So he's still marketing products.
And
Good on it.
it's 200. It's got a little golden statue of him on top of the bottle.
Look, honestly, I don't have any problem with that. Look, if you want to market your products, that's fine because I have the right not to buy it. Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, it's such like just cheesy, like grifting.
Yeah, because
it's $249 a bottle.
He's a real estate salesman. Okay. I mean, the thing is, if you look who you elected, his CV is basically a real estate salesman. So what's he going to do? He's going to sell real estate. And he's not selling real estate. He's going to sell you perfume. He'll sell you anything that you're willing to buy. I mean, that's kind of like the name of the game. But again, that doesn't hurt me because I have the right not to buy it. And I'm not going to buy it. I'm not going to buy Trump perfume or go to Trump Towers or anything like that. So I don't really care if he does that or not. I do care what he does with the tariffs. I do really care about the U.S. dollar being plummeted against the euro. That actually does affect me. So there's some stuff that he does that's affect me. And then the other thing he's doing is he's talking about repealing the federal income tax. Are you out of your bloody mind? You know, I mean, so there are some things he does that can create havoc. But, you know, there's some stuff that is just totally irrelevant. Hey, Dr. Sharif has joined us from the sane world of Asia. And I assume that there's very little problems over there because it's more stable than the United States. When the United States elected Trump again, I realized Pod TV, there are going to be a lot of people watching, which there are. And that's because the circus has come to town, baby. We have reality TV right here, not here, because that's
does Bangladesh sometimes have crazy leaders?
No, they're all sane over there. Go on, Sharif.
Yeah, Bangladesh. You know that we have a lot of problem with our politics, but somehow our youth communities and our Nobel laureate Dr. Muhammad Yunus, with this new government, they are trying to solve all of the problem. So all of the constitutional, institutional, government agency, everything is changing, restructuring. So this is the interesting things happening right now in Bangladesh. But in terms of Asia, a lot of things happening. At least I want to share 5 news which is related to USA directly. Number 1, Saudi likely to raise oil price for Asia. After the ceasefire and Iran and the Israel war and all of the things, Saudi increasing the price. So definitely it has some impact both in US market and Asian market. So Saudi Arab is expected to increase August crude oil selling price to Asia, with Arab light crude set to rise by $1.70 to $2 above the Oman and Dubai benchmark due to the surging spot price in the Iran-Israel conflict and strong summer demand. So this is the things I can say in Asia, all of the price, because energy is related everything, so it will increase soon. US tariff risk weight of Asian factories. So despite modest growth, China PMI at 50.4, Japan manufacturing rebounding, uncertainty looms over US tariff threat. India stand out with 14-month-long high factory output driven by export demand. So definitely it's directly engaged with these tariff decisions of USA. Another interesting thing is happened in Thailand. So Thailand Constitutional Court suspend Prime Minister Shinawatra over leaked diplomatic calls with Hun Sen. Deputy Prime Minister Surya is now serving as a caretaker. So definitely political instabilities and many things happening in Thailand. Asia Pacific luxury travel on the rise, because what we see this US actually ban a lot of immigrants to get and travel in the USA, and there are a lot of things happening in North America. I believe that is also has an impact. So Marriott International Traveler report highlight a shift in luxury travel across Asia Pacific as traveler seeks more meaningful, purpose-driven experience. So, Nick, welcome Asia. I think they are looking for your travel and all the luxury things in Asia. So, Bloomberg Asia trade live from Tokyo. So, Bloomberg launched in Asia focused market brief. The Asia trades from Tokyo and Sydney, offering the real-time insight on the global market movement and local trading trends. Everything, all of the five news is related to USA. So, what next, Nick?
Oh, well, I mean, that's good you give a report from Asia because, Dr. Sharif, half of the world's population lives within a stone's throw of where you live. But in the United States, we get like zero reports what goes on in Asia. In other words, it's like, oh, we don't even know they exist. But, you account for like half the GDP of the world, half the population of the world. And the United States ignores you because they're like, we're like on the other side of the pond. And the people don't get any reports from Asia. Thank you for giving the Asian report because people in the United States need to know more about what goes on over there because it does affect people over here. And if they don't believe us, look at, what do they call it? COVID-19. Ding! Goes all over the world instantaneously. And Bill Gates predicted that because he goes with international transport today. People fly from country to country pretty easy, so you're going to transmit diseases. And also we know in Asia, we buy all our stuff over there. In other words, the manufacturing centers are over in Asia. It's just the name of the game. And you guys don't seem to squabble very much. How many people even have heard any the people in Bangladesh or the President Modi complaining about anything? You don't hear anything about that. You don't have the exciting Congress that we have. You don't have the exciting divide, or do you? Do you have two parties that are divided over in Bangladesh that fight each other all the time? I'll have to ask you, sir, if you know.
Actually, yeah, I told you that new constitutional and institutional reformation happening in the world. Last 5 years, I only discuss about this talent economy, youth empowerment, and everything. So after the previous regime, the new young population, those who are students, very young, talented people of different university, they come to the road and they say, enough is enough. We do not want corruptions. We do not want this all of the wrong thing in the countries. We want reformations, and most important factors like around 1,500 young people, they lose their life in the road. Many people actually lose their eyes because this police shoot on them. They lose their hands or legs. Lot of things happening. That time I was in USA, but I saw that how our young people, they come to the front line and they said, we want to change our country. We do not want corruptions. We do not want this kind of political things. We want reform our countries. So then whole country's populations and the global community, they support this initiative. Definitely social media playing a major role for getting all kinds of support from the global communities. And then the previous prime minister, she ran away. Now these young people, they develop another party. It's called NCP, and they are trying to attend in the elections. I do not know what will be result, but this is the symbol that the leadership of the political parties and all of the political system has a lot of wrong things. Maybe the global community can do research and they can work with us and they can take this model. And you see, not only Bangladesh, the same thing happen in different countries. You see this Thailand, also same thing happening. So Asia, basically after these revolutions of Bangladesh, all of the small countries like even Pakistan, this Thailand and all of the country go for these revolutions. This is good for a country. When the young population, youth community, talented people come to politics, it's give new flavor, new formations. It's not like two-party discussions or corporate house things. New formation, and then they come, they sacrifice their life, right? They sacrifice their family and all of the things. So it has, I want to say, more purified, more philosophical aspects, most honest intentions. That can be a good model. And you see, last 5 years, I think we know each other's. That is my understanding that youth has power, talent people has power, but somehow the so-called corporation, so-called political system, they actually destroy all of the talent economy and the talent system. But we support it. But ultimately, maybe I discuss in theoretical perspective, but our Bangladeshi young people, young population, they took the real challenge. So your global talent show, all of the young and talented peoples and ultimately the brilliant peoples, those who sacrifice their lives or they are right now struggling, they may join in the global talent show. And I'm sure it will be very dynamic. Beside this music and things, it will be real dynamic global talent shows.
Yeah, it sounds
So
like
I
it'll
invite
involve in music
invite you
and
all.
intellectual talent as well, and everything like that. By the way, I did find a news story because your favorite person, Nick, is bringing India into the news conversation. That being Trump. So, S. Jaishankar refutes Trump's India-Pakistan ceasefire claim. So, despite India's repeated denials, the U.S. president last week again claimed that he ended the military conflict between India and Pakistan with a series of phone calls on trade. And Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar on Monday called the terror attacks in Jammu and Kashmir's Pahalgam an act of economic warfare meant to destroy tourism in Kashmir. He asserted India's stance of not allowing nuclear blackmail to prevent it from responding to terror emanated from Pakistan, as he shared his first-hand account of the talks between New Delhi and Washington before the ceasefire with Islamabad. So he's basically saying in an exclusive chat with Newsweek, the minister dismissed the U.S. President Donald Trump's claim of using trade to force India and Pakistan to accept a ceasefire after the escalation of India's Operation Sindoor in May. He revealed that he was with Prime Minister Narendra Modi when the U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance spoke to him by phone, and there was no linking of trade and ceasefire as far as India was concerned. I can tell you that I was in the room when Vice President Vance spoke to Prime Minister Modi on the night of May 9th, saying that Pakistanis would launch a very massive assault on India. We did not accept certain things, and the Prime Minister was impervious to what the Pakistanians were threatening to do. On the contrary, Prime Minister Modi, indicated there would be a response from us, he added, given the chronology of the interactions. So, yeah, they got conflict in India and Pakistan
Yeah.
this week.
One thing I just want to add, this coming Friday, I am organizing Global Peace Dialogue. And you can see that all of the powerful lieutenant generals, those who have real contribution in the war, especially for global peacekeeping missions, and all of the talented people, those who run United Nations, let's say Dr. Talib Rafai, those who run these peacekeeping missions in Germany, in definitely from USA, from NATO, and all of the real not only theory like practical things doings in Asia Pacific, in North America, in Middle East, they will join. So if you have time, you can join. It will be very exclusive, and our audience will be all of the defense peoples, those who contributing for global peacekeeping missions around 40 countries last 30 years. So it will be very exclusive. I think that Pot TV gonna share this exclusive show. It will be really exclusive. You can observe.
Okay. That sounds, like I said, that sounds pretty positive.
What day is that on again?
Friday. Friday.
You'll have to run that, Nick. I'll be actually at a festival that day, so you'll have to run it if we're going to air it live.
Yeah,
Oh,
it will be
right.
very exclusive. All of the peacekeeping missions,
Mhm.
peacekeeping engineering, we publish papers. They will join, and real army, right? Those who actually help the Middle East, those who help in the Africa, those who help in this Russia and Ukraine, they will join. The lieutenant general, those who lead in these things. It's a real things, and also we are developing research centers with defense. It's called MIST. So I'm sure it's your dialogue, not only dialogue. It's like a more action, more engagement with the people and real peacekeeping missions, and how we should work together. It's not political, We have to be uh, like Pot TV, like I want to say it's a Harvard of online Harvard, right? But we need to open the mind and the discussions and all of the things, right? So there are a lot of story around the world. It's never come to media, right? All of the interesting thing happen around the world. It's never come to the public. So I'm trying to unveil the truth. I'm trying to bring all of the brilliant things in one platform. So maybe in all of the big university, research center, think tanks, government, they can utilize our content for their own development, for developing their policy, for developing their news. News can cover our news. This can follow us, right? The stock market can make the new policy based on our dialogue. That is my objective. And in some point, I'm not 100% successful, but I'm getting a very good success through this process. So global peacekeeping missions, I know you run a very big show, David Walker show, but it will be very dynamic. I can assure it will be real relationship with the global north and global south and the defense people.
Okay. And that's going on this Friday, right?
Yeah, Friday.
4th of July.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think I already sent you email.
You sent me a link. Okay. Yeah, I'll pull it out. Friday I can do it because I'll be here Friday.
Professor
I'm
Day,
not-
you will be very powerful, Professor.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that sounds good. That sounds like something positive. Yeah, Rick, you're on.
Here's some math. So the U.S. has about 2,000 counties in the U.S. Of the 200 counties, that is 10%, with the highest proportion of voters reliant on public health insurance, 84% voted for Trump. These people are now going to get screwed because the Medicare cuts are going to the funding cuts are going to kick tens of millions of people off of health care for poor people. And these are people who 84% of them voted for Trump.
Yeah, so they're not going to receive health benefits.
No, they're going to get screwed.
Yeah, right. So I guess it's time to go to work, eh?
Well, no, a lot of these people work, or a lot of these people are disabled. The Republicans like to say it's able-bodied people just sitting around, but that's horse crap. I mean, sure, there's probably a certain percentage, but the majority of these people either work or are already too sick to work.
Well, part of it also is the healthcare costs are so high. So
yeah, because I mean, medicine used to be cheap, and medicine also used to not work at all. You know, right. the cheapest medicine was back in the 17th century, where they put leeches on you. Leeches are frickin' cheap. They don't save you. Frickin' all the new designer drugs save your life, extend your life by decades, and yeah, they cost $10 a day, some of them.
All right. Well,
Nick's favorite word, capitalism.
Yeah, capitalism. Well, I mean, as somebody said, it's the worst form economic system, except it's better than all the others. And that's one reason why when you see these, especially these liberals like that guy in New York City who has this huge progressive agenda, like it's going to work, and AOC has this huge, and I went through AOC. Her dad was actually an architect. And her, so she really wasn't a poor person, even though her mom did housekeeping at that time. And she was a very smart girl. She went to private university, a very expensive university, Boston University. Okay, and she graduated very high in her class. She's a very smart person, basically from a middle class background, pretending to be poor, who's just grabbing all the progressive ideas.
I don't think that she's going
the progressive ideas don't work. As we all know,
she doesn't go around saying she's poor. She doesn't go around saying she's poor. She goes around saying she's from the Bronx.
That's implied. But if you really want to turn the United States into Venezuela,
yeah, but
you guys really want
to. Let me interject real quick.
Wait a second. She did it. Let's talk.
It doesn't matter about her, Rick. That's not the question.
Let's talk
about
AOC's Venezuelan.
When you talk about the legislation she does, she doesn't really do the Green New Deal. She brought it up, but did she do legislation about it? No.
Yeah,
all these progressives talk about progressive ideas, but when it comes time,
well, let them pay for it. I don't have a problem with their ideas. They want me to pay
You
for
guys
their
are
ideas.
arguing
That's what
and
I-
not even listening to what's happening right now.
What's
So,
happening right
for
now?
example, Nick, you are now advocating for spending $5 trillion, adding that to the debt. That is exactly what is happening right now. That is the actual proposal that is going through the House and the Senate. So you are now upset because Mamdani he's a socialist. Well, you're okay with authoritarianism. You're okay with stripping people from health care. You're okay with all this other stuff. When Mamdani called out, we're going to have government-run grocery stores in 5 of the boroughs, only 5 in different boroughs. Do you realize we have government-run grocery stores already? Yet you're using a fear tactic to actually say something that is asinine at best. So again, what we're talking about right now, AOC and this and that and the other thing. Well, okay, Marjorie Taylor Greene, let's talk about her education background. Let's talk about the kid who's now, Iran, we destroyed it. Well, no, all you did was create more terrorists. You know who's supposed to protect us now? A 22-year-old bagger. He was a grocery store bagger. So you're going to sit here and talk about AOC when she has no actual bearing on our current lives, but this 22-year-old who was a bagger at a grocery store, he's the one who's controlling our response against any form of terror against us. So what you're complaining about has no sense.
Let's be specific. This 22-year-old kid who mowed lawns for a living, bagged groceries, his parents were big Trump donors, so he is now our terrorism czar. This 22-year-old idiot with zero experience.
So, Nick, are you going to complain about that, or are you just going to cry about AOC?
Well, can I respond to your huge inaccuracies?
I know. I want to know if you're going to complain about. You just complained about the education behind AOC, but you said nothing about this gentleman who's supposed to protect us from terrorists.
Your huge inaccuracy. Okay, first of all, the $3 to $5 trillion increase in the debt takes place over 10 years.
So you're okay with it?
So it's $300 billion to $500 billion per year. It's not.
So you're okay with it? No. Okay. Don't give me the gas what you're doing right now. Are you
given the fact that Joe Biden would
Donald Trump
$5 trillion
increased the national debt by 25%, more so than any other president has in our So you're up here gaslighting. Can you stop gaslighting?
I'm correcting you because you're wrong.
You're not. Okay. Did Donald Trump increase the national debt by 25% in his first term?
Then we talk about AOC.
Nick, it's a yes or no question. This is gaslighting.
Her idiotic policies.
Nick, you're not.
I don't know. I'm not lighting any gas. I see no gas.
Yeah, you're gaslighting. Yeah, and now we're all on
Hold on. Let me get a sentence here. Let's be fair. Hold on. So Obama added $8 billion to get us out of the crash of 2008. Trump added $8 billion to give to rich people. Biden added $8 billion to get us out of COVID, and Bush 2 added $4 billion, mostly for the Iraq War. So all the recent presidents have added a ton.
I'm out now, Rick. Hold on.
Rick needs to be corrected. It's not $8 billion. It's $8 trillion.
Trillion, please. Thank you. As you just stated, Rick, you stated Bush added to the debt for a war. Obama added to the debt because we were in the middle of the stock market crash to fix the economy on that. Biden added to the national debt to help us with COVID. You said, what did Trump add the national debt for?
To give money to rich people.
Thank you. So intent matters. So now we're back to Nick defending somebody just doing a transfer of wealth. A legitimate transfer of wealth to the upper echelon of people who are making a ton of money. So what we're arguing about, again, let's get to specifics and see what's actually happening in the country. The thing that Mamdani is talking about, you're complaining about, oh, well, he wants to help out all these people and spread the wealth. We just talked about, well, Trump he consolidated the wealth to the richest people. That's what he did. He took the wealth from the poor and gave it to the rich. He did a reverse Robin Hood. But again, you have no complaints about that.
No.
Let me go. I want to talk about.
I don't see the problem here. I don't know why you're so upset with
trying to make this point for so AOC gets tarred with the Green New Deal, right? She never brought it to the floor. So progressives like Mamdani and AOC, they talk progressive ideas. When it comes to legislating, they don't turn them into bills. But the Republicans, they put every shitty idea in the world in this giant suitcase bill.
And check this out, though, Rick. This is wild, and this is why our politics are so divided, and the Democrat Party is held to such a completely different standard than the Republican Party. Both parties come to the table with ideas. Both parties start way out. As Donald Trump says, he has to start at this area to get a deal that he wants. So even when you walk into a car dealership, you say you want a lowball deal. The dealer says he wants a highball deal. You meet somewhere in the middle. We never really complain about the right wing coming in with unbelievably horrible ideas, but no, all the progressives come in with these extreme ideas. Well, the Republican Party does the same exact thing. We just accept it, but we don't accept that this is where their starting point is. On the Democrat Party, we create some boogeyman that, oh, the Green New Deal is something. No, when you talk about the policies on the inside of the Green New Deal, instead of calling it some demonized word that you've co-opted, oh, the Green New Deal, you like the policies on the inside. You like every single one of the policies on the inside. When you talk about, oh, these progressive policies failed. No, actually, the policies that you're talking about actually provided a great increase in what was going on. High taxes. Do you realize our golden era was when the tax rate was a lot higher and not as it is now? Our conservative policies about keeping all your money and all this stuff have actually caused a lot of problems within our society where we had to retract. Remember, Ronald Reagan came in on this low tax idea. He chopped the taxes based on a conservative policy. And you know what he did? He had to re-raise them because we were losing a lot of our actual social safety net. So when Donald Trump is passing this giant big new deal based around the Project 2025, which is an extremist thing, it is worse than the Green New Deal. Think about it, the extremes of each party. One party wants to spread the wealth and give free healthcare and give free housing, everybody to walk equally. The other one wants to put people with melanin in their skin in chains or out of the country. Wants to actually have no one who is homosexual, no one, anybody in that the extremes of the parties are completely different. But we're complaining about the extreme, trying to spread the wealth because they're going to take my money. That's not really what the actual party is actually advocating for. Even Mamdani's not talking about that. So again, when we get back to looking legitimately at the policies and stop demonizing each other on there, just understanding where people are trying to come from and make that middle ground, which is where we want to be in the first place. That's what we got to focus on instead of getting all distracted. Green New Deal. Well, honestly, don't we want clean water? But Donald Trump's taking away the Clean Water Act. Nobody's talking about that. Donald Trump is actually getting rid of all the EV stuff and all the clean air and the Clean Water Acts. Do you know
that saves very little money? That saves almost nothing.
It does, but even worse, it actually increases asthma because the spike in asthma can be tracked to the increase in air pollution that's out there. So the respiratory issues are now going to spike again because Donald Trump's killing all that. But no, we don't care about this stuff. Because
also, when you cut people's health care, their health becomes, they end up going to the emergency room. And that ends up racking up bigger bills than if they'd had access to health services and had things taken care of on a non-emergency basis.
And then take a look at, honestly, I don't know if you talked about it, Mark, but who was it? Obama and Bush have already complained about, actually condemned about the U.S. aid. And there are legitimate, there's blood on Donald Trump's hands and Elon Musk's hands because people have died. Death has happened based on the removal of U.S. aid. People are starving, kids are starving, diseases are running rampant in areas that they have pulled U.S. aid from. But he did that because of what? It's waste, fraud, and abuse. Let's no, but that's
Toby, I have one question, Counselor. Are those U.S. citizens who died or not?
No, they're foreigners.
Hold on. Nick,
I have no further questions.
Okay.
No
So what you're that?
I have no further questions.
I know you have no more. You have no more further questions. Great, you said that. But let me tell you.
Rick answered the question. They're not U.S. citizens.
Tell me what that comment tells me is that that comment right there. Yeah. And you're coming from the same side that says all lives matter. That right there is bogus. That means you really don't care that people are dying. You don't. You really don't care that people are starving. You don't. You really are okay with people dying.
Don't you know there's boundaries?
You just told me that. You really are okay with people starving. You just told me that.
Those are not our countries.
I know.
Here's what you just did is you don't care about them. I'm looking at an article from Rolling Stone on the worst parts of this bill. And the legislation includes a new tax on wind and solar. However, it doesn't do anything about the $50 billion in subsidies that oil companies get every year, and they're making record profits. So if you want to claw some money back, maybe quit giving the oil companies $50 billion a year.
Oh, I didn't know that. I'll keep my oil stocks. Thank you, Rick. I didn't know that.
All right. Now,
my oil stocks are going to beat up pretty bad.
$45 billion for new immigration detention centers. So for jails,
private prisons. That's giving money to his private prison buddies. Giving money to the oil company. He's going to keep it there.
Okay. It makes sense rather than
this is crazy. No tax on gun silencers. If you want your gun to go pew pew instead of pow pow, you can buy one of those screw-on things that goes on the barrel and don't pay any tax on it. It's why? I don't frickin' know, but to encourage people to have quieter guns.
I mean, gun violence is the number one killer of kids, and according to
it's because the guy who put it in owns the congressman owns a gun store, so he just wants to sell more silencers.
Exactly. I mean, it's all a ripoff at this moment, and the Republican Party is getting away with it.
It's a big, beautiful bill, and it's going to pass. So you guys can scream all you like.
It's a trash bill, and yes, it will pass.
It's going to go through. And I'm glad they only increased the national debt $300 billion to $500 billion a year. It doesn't deal with all the problems. Hopefully,
it increases the national debt $5 trillion.
No, over 10 years. Toby.
$5 trillion.
Over 10 years.
That's what all Nick. According to Nick. Now you're just being disingenuous. So, according to every deal like this is a over 10 years. Even Biden was over 10 years.
It's not happening now. It's happening over a decade.
You were mad when Biden did it over 10 years.
Biden did it over like 10 years.
You were mad when Bush did it over 10 years.
And as you recall, what happened with Joe, he's spending money on like a drunken sailor. His inflation.
Actually, Trump is spending.
But you guys ended up paying for it. Remember his Inflation Reduction Act? His Inflation Reduction Act.
Trump is spending more than Biden.
He's reducing it. So
no, Trump is spending more than Biden.
It's all good, and the bill's going to pass. you're just going to have to deal
You
with
couldn't
it.
even say that with a
By
straight
the way,
face.
you convinced me because I was about to trade my energy stocks, but now you convinced me to go back into it, Jacoby, if they're still going to do it. And see, this is the problem with your progressives. You keep complaining, well, we don't own anything. Well, go out and buy stocks. Now you own something. Get a piece of the action. By the way, 50% of Americans own stocks. So it's not unusual. And they are all Republicans. The other 50% own no stocks. They don't want to participate. All they want to do is complain. And they're Democrats. So we kind of understand how these.
That's wildly general.
We understand.
You can own stocks and still hate this stupid bill. Like, so the bill probably will pass. And
no, I think the odds on right now are 70% the bill's going to pass in some form or fashion once everybody settles down, grows up, and sees that it's a big, beautiful bill, which it really is. So the thing is, we'll see that pass. In the meantime, we're about to pass out of here because we're at the hour. I was waiting for Jacoby to run up and say something so I could cut him off. But I mean,
I was going to say something.
He muted himself. So but we got to go. Goodbye.